mute your mic until we're ready to just chat. That'd be great. You can just click on that mic button and it'll put a red cross across your mic and that lets you know you're muted. So it is my pleasure to welcome you to the January CRD webinar series. As we've noted in previous sessions, we'll have one session every month that highlights something in community development that's going on in the region. And so we've got a different state and a different presenter each month. We've had a couple of these already. We started in October. I've already got the March and April ones lined out, and we're getting on down through the summer months. So we're looking forward to sharing these as we go. So today we're going to be hearing from Chris Cotton from Prairie View A&M University. Chris has a wealth of knowledge and experience in community development and has shown himself to be just a go-to expert in a number of fields. But one of the things that Prairie View has done quite well is this area of looking at disaster management. So, Chris, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for sharing with us a little bit about the program. So, we'll walk through this. If you've got questions along the way, since we have a small group, feel free to chime in or you can put them into the chat box and we'll watch for those and answer those as we go. So with that, Chris, I'll turn it over to you.
Hello. Well, I want to welcome everyone. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your schedule to participate. Yes, we've been able to accomplish some things in disaster management, and I'd like to just share with you some things that will be helpful for you to incorporate these things in your area. My contact information is on here, as well as my email. So if anyone has any further questions, you'll have my information so we can communicate. Well, what I want to make sure you understand is when you're looking at disaster planning, we started from the ground up. And to start from the ground up, you really have to figure out what your goal is and what your topic is. And we wanted to make sure that our people were trained for all hazards and preparation curriculum across the board. All of your stakeholders, for the most part, are going to give a thumbs up. They're all happy that they were elected. They're happy that people voted for them, or if they were appointed in a particular position. But at the end of the day, um, they may have their eyes focused on one thing, but all of them are responsible for making sure that they sign off and that they are able to handle dealing with people when it comes to disaster emergency management, specifically having to sign off on different paperwork. Well, one problem with that is a lot of them have this responsibility and they're not even necessarily aware of it. And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to put together an environment to where people felt comfortable to ask questions. We had some people that had a fire truck that was on flat. Okay, now maybe it wasn't in the budget to have it fixed. It should be in the budget, but do you know who the person is that's to the right and to the left of you or in the adjacent county that has a fire truck that is easy accessible if you have a fire? Now, I know some of this stuff is like, wow, are you kidding me? Well, when you start talking about some rural areas, when you start talking about some limited resource individuals, you'll be surprised that some of these people are coming up with some very creative stuff in order just to make their county or their region to make it run. And some of these things, maybe they haven't seen them in a long time. However, but they should have a plan of action to make sure that they are ready to handle a disaster if it was to hit their area. So what we did was is we pretty much looked at what the state and what their responsibilities were and how it impacted what we were doing at the local level. And we got people involved. We were very successful as getting our NIM kids who is still is over emergency management, and he's also in charge of Homeland Security for the state of Texas, and he was one of our presenters. He was very happy about how we were able to put this summit on every year to help his region, specifically Region 2, to be able to be better prepared for the objectives that he had. So I communicate with him on a yearly basis, making sure that the things that we're talking about for the summit are in line with what he's doing in his office. In the programs, it's very easy. You know, you want to have a program to where you have everything across the board. So we have two sections. We have for the person that's pretty much your person that's just in the community. We have Red Cross. We have Department of Insurance. We have people from the governor's office, the fire department, first response. We have United Way, whoever your Department of Transportation is, Red Cross. We have all those individuals there for individuals to know how they need to be prepared from their end. And but we also have another meeting where your elected officials are able to have a meeting where they can talk about what their issues are. Now, I want you to be very careful when you just let them know that, oh, well, they have that together. You want to ask them some very specific questions, but you want to make an environment where they feel comfortable that they can really ask questions that they may not have the answer to. And that's going to happen with time. So as you have this conference on a yearly basis, you're able to um, help them so that they can do their jobs more effectively. So we have roundtable discussions talking about different areas. We also have a training. We have CPR training. We have curriculum. You also, something that's going to be very important for you to do is to make sure that you get a curriculum where people can get continuing education credits training. That's going to be very important to get buy-in because a lot of these people are volunteering their time, and if they're not able to get those NIM or continuing education credits, then it's hard for them to justify their time. Now, different types of issues that will be addressed are across the board spectrum of opportunities that you can address. But I would recommend that you find out from the local level what seems to be issues that need to be addressed, as well as finding out what things need to be addressed from your state level. And you need to work at having something that kind of addresses both. Of course, they're both going to kind of coincide with one another, but just as you know on your job, what the president of your organization is dealing with and what you're dealing with in extension is may not be the same thing. Excuse me. So you want to make sure that you are looking at looking at a disaster, or looking at all hazards in a way that it addresses everyone. So, give you an example. 2 years ago, we had an active shooter on campus. We wanted the individuals to know what it would look like if there was an active shooter on campus, what the vehicles look like. So we brought the vehicles in from the region that they would actually use if there was a shooter on campus. And we found out that there were some vehicles that they had that, wow, they could shoot someone from just being inside of the car. Well, also some of the students, yeah, they say you're having a meeting over there. Oh, okay. But when they seen these people with all of these guns, and they seen all of these vehicles that had all of this information on them, so then now the portion that was for the public, it became more personal. So they were like, "Oh, when you see this vehicle, you have to put your phone down," because a lot of students, when they're on the phone, they're just talking. But when they found out about this particular program, they were like, "Well, oh, when I see that vehicle, I need to put my phone down." And so we took them through training as far as how we would like them to respond, how we would like people in the community to respond. And then from the round table or for the elected officials, now we talked about really the communication of how we're going to really communicate as far as having this workshop. And it became very apparent that that there were holes there that needed to be filled. So Because of all of this, we were able to also get some additional funding from the state to help build a command center, and that's still in the process as we speak. But you will find that when you start working on these issues, then you'll start finding out that there are opportunities for uh, your agency to get additional funds to be able to help in line with emergency management. This is a huge problem. It's a huge issue for all states. But when you take this proactive approach, then it allows you to be first in line for any funding that's available to help support it as well. Um, Here in the state of Texas, we are split up into seven regions, excuse me, and that's important because what happens in Region 2, the types of things that we're concerned about in Region 2 have to do more with hurricanes um, and tornadoes and fires on that end. But on the other end, the disasters that they see on the western part of the state are totally, totally different, and they deal with more of in Region 5, they're dealing with a lot of earthquakes, or in Region 4, drought is a huge issue, and water, and being able to have water. So they have a lot of problems on one part of the state that you don't have on the other. You want to make sure that you're looking at it from that perspective, because you don't want to have a meeting like this and assume that everybody is having the same problems that you're having in your local area. Some of the people that you want to make sure that you get involved. Of course, you want to get the universities involved. All of your universities, you want to get them involved. Your schools, your first responders, hospitals. You want to get a lot of people from different agencies involved, especially some of your federal agencies, because they can only enhance the program. And when you do these types of things, they're like, oh, okay, yes. Well, Preview is doing some things that we needed to do a long time ago. So, and they may have programs like this, but a lot of these people that we found out from when we do a pre and post test, we were finding out that some people, this was the only training that they were getting, because maybe they had trainings like this in College Station or Austin or Houston, but because maybe they were volunteering, maybe this one was in a geographic region that made more sense for them with their time off from work. You want to make sure that you get these surveys, and you want to keep this information because people are going to be very interested in it. So now we have opportunities to meet with people in Washington. We have opportunity to meet with people in Texas legislation, and now that we are starting to have evaluations that we're able to track information and track what people are doing over a long period of time, that's been very helpful for extension in the work that we do here in specifically in community and economic development. But all of this information goes together, it all works together. And if you build a program like this in your state, then I promise you, it will just build on itself each year. And every time that there is another disaster or another problem that comes up in your state, then this meeting will allow these individuals to come across either from the region or from your entire state and be able to address those in a more effective way. Does anyone have any questions?
So, Chris, I've got one. I just kind of wondered. I know that we actually had this conversation just yesterday with a group of professionals that were talking about the importance of disaster management and preparation for particularly working with extension and some kind of hard to reach audiences that may lack some of the resources. And I know you've got experience in that direction. How did you get the buy-in to get people interested in and engaged in this work? What was kind of the what caught their eye and caught their attention to get involved?
Well, first of all, I think the first thing you have to do is to know that everyone really is afraid of not knowing the answer. So, how you're going to get buy-in is you're going to communicate at the local level as well as communicate at your state level. And you're going to listen to what those individuals are telling you, what their problems are. Now, maybe at first, they're going to tell you that, well, our real problem is we need money, or we don't have the personnel to handle a situation. But when you really get down to it, a lot of times that may not be what the real problem is, and you'll get that um, when you have these meetings and you have these roundtable discussions, and you can put them in an environment where they are looking at the person to the left and to the right of them and finding out how they're addressing these issues. So to answer your question, by you staying focused on what people are telling everyone what the problem is, and by them actually putting them in a meeting and saying, well, if this is your only problem, all you have to do is fill out this form and request this funding, and then they will be able to sit and say, oh, that's really not the problem. The real problem we have is I have some people that are really not up to speed at the maybe the particular job that they're doing at that point in time. So, but they don't necessarily want to tell you that. So then this training gives you an opportunity where you can start having trainings in different areas that can help them get those people up to speed so that we can actually move towards what the real problems are. You can really use this as an opportunity uh, to help these people instead of just complaining about not having money, but actually really getting the training and solving the problems that they really need. That's how you can address this. And what'll happen is you'll have it the first year. You'll get a few people buy in. Those people will go back and tell them, man, I was able to get this training. And they'll say, well, why aren't you going to the training and that's 4 or 5 hours away? Oh, well, I already got training from Prairie View for that training, so I don't have to go to that one. And so then somebody said, what? They had continuing education credits? What? Then it starts building a momentum to where not only are they going to that training that is 4 to 5 hours away, that's probably on something that doesn't address their concerns, but you're making it to where you are addressing more of the problems that they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. That's what you're making this conference about. And then each year, I promise you'll double your numbers.
That's great suggestions, great answers. I appreciate that. What advice would you give to someone in an extension that was thinking about a community they wanted to help to strengthen their readiness? What would you give them as kind of like, the very best advice you could give them, very first steps? What would you suggest to them?
First of all, don't go in there thinking you have the answers to what their problems are. First, you want to make sure that you listen to what they feel that their concerns are. And then you want to, in your mind, already have a game plan. Oh, they say they need an extra fire truck. Oh, okay. Well, do they know USDA has a program to be able to help individuals get emergency equipment? No, we didn't know that. I thought we just had to get it out of our budget. Oh, okay. Well, when you start exposing them to these opportunities, but don't just tell them how to get the fire truck. Now you're going to say, oh, well, once you get the fire truck, how are you going to maintain it? And do you have the right personnel in order to operate it? All of these are questions that they would have probably in their second or third phase. So you build your programs not around just helping someone get a fire truck because that's what their pain is, but you help them so that they can sustain it and grow it, and so that you're helping them with questions that they would have down the road. And so you're giving them this roadmap, and then once they see that you're helping them, oh, well, then they'll just come to your program with open arms.
That sounds like really great advice, probably for anything that we do in Extension, is to listen first and respond to those needs. How about from the other participants? What are some of the questions or comments that you have? You can either activate your mic and just talk since we've got a small group, or feel free to use the chat box if you want to jot something there. See, we've got one person typing. So Chris, while he's typing, I don't know if you had it in here. If you did, I missed it. Have you got numbers on the number of people that you've been able to train so far? I see you've got some of your evaluation, you've got as many as 50, but how many people have been able to go through some sort of training?
Wow. That's hundreds. I don't have that information um, on file, but the problem I would have with that is some of these people are actually maybe they've come last year, and then now we have police chiefs and judges, and oh, I know another resource that you need to work with. You also need to ask people that are people that are at the DEA's office that are advising different folks if they have a problem. You need to incorporate those individuals to come to these summits as well. Now, those may be some of the harder people for you to get in touch with or get buy-in. But if you have a county judge or you have, depending on how you're set up, if you have somebody that's responsible for signing off on this paperwork, you want to make sure that you include these lawyers so that they can know from that perspective to be able to have a better understanding of how to advise these individuals. So there's so many people that need to be trained in this area that may not possibly get um, NIMS training, or they may not specifically get some emergency management training that you can offer this program to that will enhance what your elected officials are doing.
All right. See that Chance has got his question down there now,
So
asking you.
curriculums. Okay. Well, we use a curriculum that is with TEEX, uh, Texas Extension Extension Service. We use one that our TEEX. That's where that curriculum for all hazards and preparation. They actually have a curriculum where they can bring that information to you. Um, they have a grant for it, and you have to give them a minimum of 25 participants. They like about 50 participants, and they have grant funds to be able to do that. And you can more than happy call the call TEEX, and they will do that. TEEX is if you look that up, you'll be able to find them. But let me see if I can pull pull them up. Can y'all see this screen? Can you see
No,
my
but
screen?
you can drop the website into the chat box.
Okay, great. So that means I can search for it without anyone.
Right. No, we're just still seeing your PowerPoint.
Great. But to answer the question even more so, there are some individuals with the Forestry Service that have a curriculum that would be good as well. Um, um, USDA has some information on it. There's a lot of different places you can get this different curriculum, but I recommend TEEX as well as the Forestry Service. Yes, and it's
Other
TEEX.
questions?
TEEX is teex.org. Put that in here. Oh, you beat me to
Yeah, just typing while you were talking.
it.
All right, other questions from anyone? If not, I was looking right quickly to tell you the dates of our upcoming series. So this is the January one. I'm pulling up my list right quickly. So in our next one that we have set up is going to be February the 16th at 10 a.m. Central, and this is looking at community food systems and healthy food access initiatives. Crystal Tyler Mackey will be leading that session. Our March series will be March 29, and it's looking at leadership. You've got the position, now make sure you have the talent. That will be Kenyatta Nelson Smith from Southern University in Louisiana. And in April, we will be listening to some presenters from North Carolina on improving the health and safety of North Carolina farm workers, connecting rural resources. May, we've got Bricks to Clicks, which is an e-commerce app looking at Facebook and how I can use Facebook to grow your business. And that's James Barnes from Mississippi State University. So we're looking forward to those. We'll be able to share those more about those as we move forward, but look forward to having all of you join those. Chris, thank you very much for your time. You obviously have done quite a tremendous amount of work here, and we appreciate you taking a few minutes to share this with us and to provide some resources for us. And I appreciate that you shared your contact information in the first slide in case people have questions. So with that, we'll just say goodbye for the day, and thank you all for joining us. This will be recorded, and we'll have it up on our site if you want to go back and review it or if you want to share it with other people. So again, we just thank you all for being a part. And thank you, Chris.